And actually talking to the engineers, and I know it's a honeymoon period where they're all excited, about it, and they will by default say it's great because they want it to happen. But actually looking into the engineers' eyes and some of the things they said, and it was genuine. You can tell you're having a proper, genuine conversation about the impact it had, and one of the lads with their daughter and spending the day. And you're just like, we need to be different. We need to be better than everyone else, and we need to stand out. And we want to employ. So I want every good engineer that works for a company locally to us to come and work for us. And
where do I sign up?
Yeah. So so having a 4-day week. So the point we got to was capacity became a problem in the colder months. So we've got to a point where 6 months of the year, which is
summertime,
sort of March through, the time you want to be off, enjoying the sun and all that, we're doing a genuine 4-day week, 32 hours, Monday to Thursday, or miss.
So some of the lads like me, for instance, that'd be great for me if I suppose. I don't think it would because I do my own editing. But say you've got some of the lads that are like haven't got families, haven't got this, and they say, "Link, I'm really up for the 4-day week. Can I work Saturday, Friday, and Saturday? And what can you do for me?" I'm sure you'll embrace that as well.
So so for the example that we were using, we treated the Friday as a Saturday. So there were the question of, what happens if my job's not done? Well, what happens if it's not done on a Friday? You don't go back Saturday, do you? So we don't by default work weekends, so we just treat that as a genuine day off. We have a rate card. I think it's £350 or something, £400 for doing a combi swap or whatever. Obviously, we're supplying the van and the kit and the tools and the materials and bits and pieces. And so they're essentially, if they want to come in on a Friday, if they want to earn, their earning potential increases. So they come in. But obviously it's workload dependent because it's in the summer as well. So naturally we are quieter. So I think we also put some ads out with 4-day week on it and results.
Inundated.
Yeah. And it was comparable because I posted the same ad and I just tweaked the heading, 4-day week, and I tweaked the description of how the 4-day week worked. And you compare both ads and it was massive. It's like the difference between fishing with a rod and a trawler. Yeah. It was. It was really good. So we're rolling that out from next year, and we're advertising for engineers now off the back of it.
So, for instance, me, I'd love to do it, but I can't. I'm not big enough. So, that advice? Do you even think I could even do that at my level?
I think everybody should at least try it in their own circumstances, because this whole burnout thing that's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm burnt out. I've told you.
I know mental health spoken about, so that exaggerates the people talking about it and it being normalised. But it's becoming really prominent, and it feels to me like after COVID, a lot of people changed. I don't know whether we were in our homes for too long, but customers kind of felt a little bit different, and people within the business felt a little bit different. So hopefully the 4-day week helps that. And I tell you where I learned a little bit. We went to Cadbury's World with the family on Saturday, and when we were doing the tour, Cadbury said, "Oh, it used to be a 6-day week, but we cut it down to like a 5-day week, and we saw this and we saw that." I'm sitting there in this room thinking, why don't we do a 4-day week? Why? No, I don't know any plumbing business doing a 4-day week. So we're desperate to make it work, because selfishly for the business, we want good engineers. And the other thing we would do, and hopefully nobody takes this the wrong way, is that engineers that are not so engaged, or engineers that have high recall rates, or engineers that aren't empowering us as a business to succeed, those situations will be easier to manage. So if, for example, you've got somebody that's not as proactive or a bit of a moaner, because we're seeing a lot of demand for new people coming in, and you can tell the CVs, 10 years of this, they've got gas, oil, LPG, you can see they've got more of a breadth of experience. They've worked at a place for a long time. The last job was they were there for 10 years or something. You can tell
that's the ones you want,
really. So we can hopefully then start to refine the business. But saying that, we've got, engineers, generally speaking, are very, very good, very loyal. But it just helps us to, hopefully, to be able to make sure that what we've presented...
Do you realise how much grief I'm going to get when our lads listen to this?
Yeah.
I'm only joking. They'll be moving on to rugby.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they do. No, but that was one of the ideas. And the burnout thing, and actually talking to the engineers after the trial, and then I was expecting the engineers to say, "Oh, it's great, yeah," because who isn't? but actually listening to the stories that they were saying about what they did. I'll give you a really quick story. So one engineer, he went off and trained to be a rapid response. So on the day off he was going out with the ambulance service to be trained up, so that he's in his local area. If there's need for a rapid response person, he's now fully trained. He was doing it on his 4-day week. He was doing it on the 5th day. We'd typically be in work. It's a great story. Like, he was going out and actually doing something proactive and productive with his time, and he seemed really chuffed about it and stuff like that. And it's good for us because you also get the feel good factor with it,
and also you get the fully qualified
paramedic
that works in your company.
we've got a problem on the job. But yeah, so it's kind of like you said about about growing. So it's nailing in employment, private healthcare, 4-day week, all these things that people actually want to go and work for, because then you attract really good people. Obviously, salary was actually very, very. So here's an interesting one. At the start of the 4-day week trial, we said to the engineers, if you could have a £2,000 pay rise right now or a 4-day week right now, what do you think they said?
4-day?
No.
£2,000 pay rise?
What do you think they said at the end?
4-day week?
Correct. Yeah. 4-day week. So it's so impactful. And we actually had one engineer that said that him and his partner were thinking of selling the car to reduce the finance so he could just go on to a 4-day week completely, because that's how much of an impact it had on him. So I think a lot of other businesses should look at that. But anyway, nailing employment is one thing, and being such a great, attractive place. You pay well, you've got good terms, people actually want to work there. And then nailing your business, getting your reviews up, because I think people want reviews.
You do now, 100%. I've been a little bit lazy with them, to be quite frank with you.
And not paying for ads. I honestly would never pay for an ad. A sneaky smidgen of it now, because we know it kind of is eking higher, but actually building a proper branded, and as I was saying earlier about a lot of the bookings we see coming in, CV, same postcode, is because we are so strong, and we've done so much for so long in our town.
Do you do interviewing? Do you actually do it yourself?
Do I do? Oh, interviewing. Partly, yeah. It
depends on specific levels of work you're
it depends if I'm in.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, generally. But I've got a colleague, Chris, who we met at college, and he's another director, and I trust him no end, so he will do it if I'm out or I've got something on. Like today, he's got 3 on today, so he'll be interviewing today. But I do like to. Do you
get them from Indeed?
At the minute, Indeed, there is a recruitment firm that we use, but they're typically about £3,000 plus VAT to take someone on. And the problem is, I know they have a clawback period, but if somebody start, and it's the other thing with interviewing, you're seeing the best version of somebody, and we work in a practical trade, so you work with your hands, and you never say anything in an interview like, "Oh, can you fit that boiler?" I mean, some companies do have a practical element to it, but a lot of small businesses just go off face value. Can you fit a vertical flue? Can you wire? How do you work a gas pipe size out? And they're just like, I'll look in the book. We always ask actually really basic questions on interviews, because if you can't get the basic questions right, you ain't going to get the difficult ones right, are you? So we say, how far should a flue be away from a window, a round circular one? I can't think what it's called. I'll look in the book, and you just think, if you need to look in the book for that question, it just gives you an idea.
So, I mean, that's really interesting, because one of the things I do, I know I've asked you to go tell me if you think this is right. One of the things, if I'm interviewing an engineer, I'll say to them, how many boiler breakdowns do you do in a day if it's a breakdown engineer? Well, I do 2 or whatever. You know that they're not a breakdown engineer. How many boilers do you fit a year? Well, I've done about 10 boilers last year. Then again, they're not a boiler. So I do ask the key questions.
So they can make it up.
They can make it up.
So we
get caught out, though, with that, surely.
Yeah. So I used to always be quite involved with this. If we had anybody new in sales start, because I spent 10 years quoting, so I came across a lot there with thermal stores and pneumatic cylinders and stuff that catch you out. Identifying a pneumatic cylinder, not a lot of people could.